So, Joe Theismann, yes, the Joe Theismann, shared his thoughts on Joe Burrow's injury. Now, or injuries in general. Now, you might say, who's Joe Theismann? And if you're saying that, you're probably a younger fan of me. So, thank you so much for hitting that like and subscribe button. But all the old heads, we all remember this guy. This guy was a Washington Redskin quarterback for the longest time, and he had one of the worst injuries on live TV. And I can't say that anymore because Damar Hamlin, but he had one of the worst contact injuries on live TV when Lawrence Taylor went ahead and sacked him. And I'm going to read a quote from his tight end at the time who blocked Lawrence Taylor. Just to give you kind of a glimpse of how bad this injury was. I'm not going to show it for obvious sake. But this is what his tight end. Keep in mind, this is a tight end. Another player who tried to block LT who got to Joe Theismann. He said, "I remember hearing the bone snap. It's something that I would never forget. Forget as long as I live. It was horrible. A horrible break." So, if you're wondering, what was the injury? I hope that gives you an image of what it was. It was one of the worst injuries. His whole entire leg snapped. Lawrence Taylor, even with Lawrence Taylor being Lawrence Taylor, he loves to be get up and showboat and, whatever. He looks over at Joe Theismann and he calls over the medical staff like this as fast as possible because he saw it too. And once he saw it, he was like, oh my gosh, it was no longer this is a rivalry between the Redskins and the Giants. This was now this man's career and life might be changed. So, again, like I said, this is one of the worst injuries of all time. He shared his thoughts on Joe Burrow's injuries. Now, it's not just one injury. He shared his thoughts and opinions on this last injury, which obviously has Joe out right now with his, his wrist, ligament from his pinky to his wrist. He talks about all the injuries that Joe has had so far, and here's what he had to say. He, as in speaking about Burrow, has to find a way to stay healthy, and sometimes it is just fluke injuries. In Joe's case, there has been some major injuries that have set him back. We've seen 1 year of Joe Burrow in 4 years of him being in the league, and I believe what he means by that is that we've only seen him healthy 1 full year. Because his rookie season, guy goes down with injury. Obviously, second season, I believe, was a full year, I want to say. And I believe his third season, he missed sometime, I want to say. And then fourth season, I think he was good. Actually, let me double check that. Because unless I'm completely incorrect here, because I don't remember exactly what games he missed in his second or third season. No, he didn't miss any games in the second and third season. That's okay. I was just about to say that. I was trying to go off Joe Theismann's word here of we only see him 1 season, but no, he didn't miss any games in his second or third season. So I'm not sure why Theismann said we've only seen him in 1 real season, because he played the other 2 just fine. I mean, I guess maybe what he means by this is that 1 season where he had no injuries. Because even if Joe plays, it doesn't mean he's not injured, right? Because Joe will play through injury. We saw it this year. We saw it in previous years in the past. So I think that's what he's trying to indicate, is that this is the first year that, it's only been 1 year that we've fully seen him not injured. Theismann went on to say, "I love his swagger. I love his talent. I love the way he leads. I love the way he plays the game." And yeah, Theismann just kind of said the obvious there. I was kind of hoping he would go more into depth about how he could avoid injuries, how he could avoid problems. And I guess at the end of the day, listen, football is football. You're never going to be able to avoid injuries, avoid, players getting hurt. It's just how it works. But I was kind of thinking and hoping he would go more in depth about what Joe could do, what he has learned, and maybe he does. Maybe he will go ahead and convey that message to Joe personally and privately through a text message or something, or a phone call. But yeah, as he says right here, this is he has got to find a way to stay healthy. And then he says this statement right here, and that's actually it. So yeah, so even like with all the context in the world here, he really just says that one statement about Joe, which I really was hoping he would kind of go more in depth. But again, like I said, there isn't much more he can really say if you think about it. Because like at the end of the day, as he says right here, some of them were just flukes. You know, majority of them, the long-term ones, obviously he's saying he has to stay healthy with. And yeah, I don't know what I expected. I guess I expected it to be a little bit more, like him to go more in depth about this. But at the same time, like you said before, he can't really go too much because it's just how it works, man. It's just how injuries work, and it is what it is. But I will say at the end of the day, you know, we're going to come back next year healthy, ready to go, fighting strong, and being at a top level that we can be at. So let's go, guys. Bounce back season next year.